This podcast contains discussions about sensitive topics, including mental health, alcohol and substance use, as well as suicide. It may also include strong language. The viewpoints expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to a trusted professional or a helpline. Welcome to Twist the Throttle, the podcast where we crank open the throttle on life's toughest rides. From mental health struggles to life on two wheels, we're here to have real, raw, unscripted conversations that break the stigma and help you navigate the road ahead. So grab your helmet, hit the road with us, and remember, it's still okay to pump the brakes. Together, we're shifting gears on mental health. Here's your hosts, Ambo and The Prez.
Well, welcome back, listeners. Another week has passed. And I'm stuck between two Geoffs. Hello, Geoff. I've got Geoff, otherwise known as Wiggle, from the Guards of Valhalla.
Also tied in with the Vic Riders Association. I believe you started that one, is that right?
Me and a couple of guys, yeah.
What bike do you ride, mate? We start every episode with the same question. What are you actually riding at the moment?
I ride a purple White Glide.
No, it's a beautiful bike. You actually won our show and shine at the breast cancer awareness ride we ran last year for the Rust.
Yep.
Got the sexy trophies.
Yeah.
Beautiful trophies,
We
weren't they?
didn't want to give those away, though.
No, they're awesome.
They come up all right. Yeah.
Yeah, they hold a pride of place at home.
Yeah. So you got the Harley. If money was no object, what would be your dream bike?
I've been thinking about this, and I reckon what I would do, since money's no object, is I'd custom make my own.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's what I plan on doing, putting a big V8 in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably what I'd like to do ultimately I'd take time off work,
Yep.
go to a mechanic and just be hands-on with the mechanic.
Yeah, that'd be
Actually learn how to
Yeah,
do it all-
exactly.
all
Bit by
properly.
bit.
Yeah.
Bit by bit.
I've always thought, like, I can't weld for shit, but I reckon you could learn on building your own frame and stuff like that would be pretty awesome.
That's why I like to get the guys in the club involved, coming around and helping to work on their own bikes.
Yeah.
We did a service in at my house and
But yeah,
got all the tools and
lazy
whatnot.
bastards like me and Bear that just drop them off.
Yeah, but that's all right. Came back all nice and clean.
The only time my bike gets a wash is when Ambo blows it.
So how'd you get into riding there, Wiggle?
Back in the 80s, my cousin was living in Inverloch.
Yep.
In the back of Inverloch, they're just starting to put in all, estates.
Yeah,
and
right.
so it was dunes and roads.
Yeah, cool.
And he had a little Pee-wee 80 and jumped on that, took to like duck and water.
Yeah, you were
yeah.
saying I was outside that you didn't even have to be taught how to change gears.
No.
It sort of came naturally.
Basically told
That's
me
incredible.
one down, the rest up, and I worked it out. You know? And
When I first jumped on one, I went straight through the fence. Whiskey throttle, bang, through the fence.
I think the first time I rode a bike was a similar Pee-wee 80, and I was ringing its tits off, and it comes back, why didn't you change gear? I'm like, they have gears? Like no one told me that. Like, couldn't figure out why everyone else would go so much faster. They would like going up the gears. I was just like, fuck, this thing's off.
Yeah, so you've been riding quite a bit of dirt after that time? Or
No, I kind of, after that, like I was saying, my love was skateboarding.
Oh,
Yeah,
I kind of, forgot about motorbikes, and I was into skateboarding for probably just working out before. I reckon it might have been close to 15 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that was every day skateboarding.
So did you do ramp or street or comp or just
Bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of everything. I wasn't the best for comp,
Yeah.
but it was ramp. I'd travel as far as Morty Alec to go on the ramps
nice.
there.
Yeah,
And back then too, we didn't have the sort of infrastructure that young kids have now.
Yeah.
So there weren't many skate parks or anything, so you had to really travel.
I remember
Yeah, that's right.
traveling down to Torquay
Yeah.
to go to the ramp.
Yeah,
Front
yeah.
Rip Curl there.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
out to Yarraville to
Yep.
the ramp next to the freeway.
Yeah, back
Yes,
in my days.
metal one.
Yeah,
Back in my days in New Zealand, that was the way of transport as well, getting around.
Yeah, same.
It was
Same.
Awesome. So how did you? So you started the Vic Riders Association. What sort of community feel have you got out of that? Like,
Oh, yeah. Vic Riders was a real eye-opener for me. A lot of people from all different walks of life came and rode on Vic Riders. At the beginning, I guess because we started it during winter, there was only a core group who would come on the rides, and people were getting a bit annoyed. And the way I looked at it is you just got to keep getting it out there and get the message out there and building it up slowly and slowly and slowly. One of my, biggest satisfactions that I get out of Vic Riders and the Guards and being on rides is the learners, the newer riders who come on. And I tend to like riding at the back.
Yep.
I'm not a fast rider at all. People in the Guards will vouch for that. I'm a cruiser. I'm not a speed demon. I've busted my leg skydiving. I've got a pin in it. I'm mindful of that.
Adventure's different for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely sounds that way.
I'm
anyway.
mindful of coming home to my family.
Yep.
So I've got that in the back of my mind. I I ride very relaxed.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
But I
You like
like,
to mentor the learner.
yeah, I
Well,
get a real satisfaction out of it. I love it, and especially when they come up, especially women who
Yeah.
are a bit apprehensive coming on a ride, thinking, "Oh my God, it's going to be Sons of Anarchy." And at the end of the day, they're really thankful and enthusiastic about coming on the next ride.
That's
And for
good.
me,
It's
that's
good
really
to mentor
rewarding.
that type of encouragement as
Yeah,
well. You know,
I
everybody
actually
can ride.
I told a funny story to Ambo about first time meeting you. We're at an organisation we're not allowed to name, barbecue at Hoppers Crossing, Bunnings.
Oh, okay.
You
Yep.
walked up together to talk to me, like I was sort of off to the side from the barbecue.
Yep.
And I said, there was these two blokes who looked really angry, and then and then this really calm guy at the front. I said, he scared me more than the other two. I said, now that I've got to know him over the years, I was completely off track with what I thought he was like. But I said, in that moment, I said, like, the fact that he was so calm and these other guys looked kind of crazy, I said it was really funny because it's like, oh shit, he must be the one that leads them. You know? So it was just a first impression thing that made me laugh.
Yeah, look, I am pretty laid back.
Yeah,
I'll admit
it's
that.
great. I've getting to know you over the last couple of years, mate.
Yeah, I have my moments. The kids know how to wind me up.
I think they all do.
Yeah.
They all know how to push buttons. I got a
Oh, yeah.
13-year-old and 11-year-old.
Yeah, we've said that not only do they know where to push the buttons, half the time they programmed them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can tell you a story about my daughter. It was a few years back, and I've gone in the bedroom and I've told her off, and she's looked at me and she's gone, "Dad, you broke my heart."
Oh,
And
no.
oh, shut up. And then a week later, she tried it again. I've gone, I'm not that calm. I'm not that
That worked once.
My Daisy used the chat GPT to try and convince us to get an iPhone.
Oh, that was like way too formal.
And the
Good argument though.
the ex was saying, "No, we should. I really think we should get her one. Yeah, I think she's a lot of responsibility now.
Very intelligent. Look at that wording of this question."
I said it was Chat GPT, so I jumped on Chat GPT and messaged a reply, and it got it all written out of why I don't think she should have one. And sent it to her.
So you're right. You rode with the Vic Riders and you met the Guards of Valhalla. I know this isn't, as we said, not your story to tell, but a little bit about the Guards. What are they all about?
The Guards are all about supporting other social clubs and also helping charities.
Beautiful.
So I've got a ride coming up in April for the Royal Talbot Rehabilitation Centre.
Okay.
And I think that's probably touched a lot of people in the community. We know ourselves firsthand a couple of people who have been rehabilitated at that hospital.
Yep.
So it's something that's very close to home for us.
Your guys are based out sort of Greendale way, is that right? Or
The rehab?
no, the club.
Guards.
The club.
Oh, no,
you guys scattered everywhere.
Everywhere, all around. We're down Druin, all the way up to pretty much the Grampians.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's scattered all around.
Yeah.
So we went on the Talbot ride
we
at
did
the market and
last
whatnot. It was
year.
beautiful ride.
So that's another thing where our president, Munga, is also the president of the Talbot Town Hall. I think I've got it right, Talbot Town Hall Committee.
Okay.
And that's all about keeping the town hall spick and span and keeping the restorations up. So we were able to get a barbecue there, and it's just a coincidence that that's Talbot and the Talbot Rehab. But we did 2 years of barbecues there where we've raised money, and the ride that that's happening in April is like the culmination of 3 years worth of work. It's all coming to an end where hopefully we're trying to get media to come.
Oh, no.
We can hand over a novelty check. We've got live music. Yes.
So
it's sort of big party.
So is it advertised on the socials?
Yeah.
It's advertised on the socials already. Yeah, well, we'll put a link in.
Yeah, cool. That'd be awesome.
What does riding mean to you beyond just getting on the bike? Like, we all sort of say it's a bit of therapy type.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. That I guess for me, the lockdowns affected me quite a bit. I was traveling to work every day into Docklands, and all of a sudden, I'm stuck at home trying to get 3 or 4 kids through school and trying to work as well. It was a real struggle for me. It was tough.
Yeah,
you look back.
Did the same thing.
Yeah, you look back and you think, oh my God, that was.
It took a little bit for the young ones to get back to school again, and to get back on board. Young Ezzy, he really struggled. He took backward steps. Really, he was doing really, really good, and then COVID hit, and then it was like starting at square one again.
Yeah.
I think the much younger kids who kind of were born into that couple of years where there wasn't that social interaction really had that on the back foot from the start.
Oh yeah, you got to remember they were taping off parks.
You weren't allowed to go anywhere.
But for the kids, you weren't even allowed to go into swings and slides. I fully tape them off. Yeah.
So you were fully locked up. I was lucky enough I could still go to work. I was, I had the stupid permit thing where drive.
Yeah. So all the tradies had it good.
Yeah.
I think they got 2 weeks off. They got a nice holiday and then back to work.
My job was considered an essential service. I think I only was down for like 2 weeks or something like that. A couple of years. Yeah.
So coming out of that, I guess it's the riding is my release. It's my balance where I don't have work life anymore because it's work and home. Or work home.
So you say you work from home full
time? Full time.
Helping get 4 teenagers ready for schools. Now, you told me last week when you called me up, you said like, I don't know if I should come on the show. I don't really struggle with mental health.
Yeah.
How have you got 4 teenagers and not struggling?
I don't know sometimes. I don't know. So
Superman.
I love my kids. I've always been a hands-on dad.
Yeah.
I've been involved, but now they're getting a bit older. I'm getting a bit of my time back. So I can afford to take off and not feel too guilty. Still try to see my son play basketball every now and then.
Yeah.
But he's 18 and the way I look at it is that age you should be kind of on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's you and your mates' time now, not the parents hanging around.
So you were saying your partner actually throws you out of the house. Get out and do something.
Pretty much encourages me a lot. I think mainly because then she gets to watch her own movies without complaining about them. It's my sort of relief.
So would you call it a lifestyle for you or a mental health escape or?
More of a lifestyle, I think. Once I started getting back on the bike again, I was all in. I loved it. I loved getting away. I loved getting for rides. If I miss a weekend not riding, I really start to feel it. And I know that sounds crazy, but I guess everyone who rides understands.
Everyone who rides gets it. It's kind of what our audience is for this show. We get the community, the guys who are understanding what we're talking about.
It's real. You really do get that sort of withdrawal.
And saying that, has the biker community been a source of support for you? Or?
Yeah, they have. They really have. Like everybody says, you can't judge a book by its cover at all. There's been a lot of support. I've made some really good friends. Hopefully they're going to be lifelong friends, people that I'm really close to in this community, and I appreciate their support and get to have good chats. A couple of guys that I get to have really deep chats with, and I really enjoy, sharing that.
We all share the same passion, really.
That's it. Yeah. We've had the chat before. It takes a certain type of person to want to throw your leg over a motorbike. In the first place. So it's kind of that brotherhood before you even meet. Before you meet, you kind of know these are your people.
That's right. Look,
don't get me wrong, there are the dickheads out there that don't want to associate with, but they're definitely the majority of people we come across are.
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, being on a bike, you're up against it. You really are. It's a dangerous thing.
Oh yeah.
Not that I go out there panicking about being dangerous, but
have to respect it.
You kind of have to be very aware of what's going on around you.
Yeah, you certainly
we all understand that.
Certainly do. When I'm going through back streets, I will not go over the limit at all because it gives you that time. I've had cars pull out in front of me numerous times, and if I was going over the limit, I would have hit them. Yeah. But because I'm maybe 5 Ks under, I've got plenty of time to stop.
Yeah, I had a good chat with someone the other day that was talking about getting a bike for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, have you ever nearly had an accident?" And I'm like, "I've been knocked off the bike pretty badly once." I said, and every time I ride, someone tries to knock me off the bike. Yeah. If you're not on your toes, if you're not paying your head on a swivel.
Yeah. I'm very, very strong about the fact of defensive driving courses.
Yeah.
Like when I got done in New Zealand for drunk driving, which I've said I've been done for before, they made me do a defensive driving course, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
Actually getting a bit more understanding of why you do that sort of thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been told I'm a defensive rider. Yeah. I don't know if they're knocking me or if that's a compliment. I've been told that's my style. So
that's good.
That is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We're big on safety in the Russ Nuts. Our big thing is we want to make group rides as safe as possible. We've got our practice hand signals and all the rest of it. And we try and teach the guys we ride with the same thing. So whenever we do a big ride with general public members, it's a lot more chaotic, but
it's important.
It's important to everyone be on the same page, at least what's expected of them.
Yeah.
The motorcycle community is known for having its own code of loyalty and respect. Have you ever had to navigate difficult situations where that was tested?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Last year, the club went through a bit of an ordeal.
Yeah.
I was quite involved. And I think that's probably pretty close to as far as I've been affected mentally in the last few years. It was a real strain, and I probably had a low point for a couple of months. I know it affected me, and it was a real challenge. And also too, I guess the other person involved is not a good friend, but a friend of my wife.
Yeah.
So my wife was involved as well because she was getting texts and everything.
Had effects through your family or not?
And I had to draw a line on, where do I stand on this?
Yeah.
I got shit canned for that.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I guess there's other people too who I feel they may have taken the side of them, and I now look at them out the corner of my eye, going, you guys aren't, where are your morals?
Different values than you thought you had. Yeah. It's definitely hard to look at people that you've put a lot of time into in a different light, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. And it kind of it happens overnight too. Sometimes you don't see it coming, and all of a sudden
you're blindsided by it. Yeah,
exactly.
It really does knock you.
It's really challenging.
So life isn't always smooth riding. How has biking helped you through some tough times?
I guess mateship.
Yeah.
It's been really rewarding. I do have friends outside of the bike life, but they've kind of, I guess we've all gone in our separate sort of directions with families and everything, so I don't get to see them as much. And I guess when it comes to my friends, I'm the only one who rides.
Yeah.
Guys that I grew up with. So now I'm with, I guess, like-minded people that I've made really good friendships with, and it's been really rewarding for me, as I guess mentally as well. That I've, like Claire said when I first started going on rides with groups and everything, she said, you found your people.
Found your tribe. That's what we say. Yeah.
It's funny, I bumped into, not at a petrol station, bumped into an old workmate in the supermarket this afternoon. And it was, haven't seen him in nearly 20 years. And, we'd say, g'day, and what are you up to? And just realise how far away you drift from people over time.
It's always funny, like I think with blokes in particular, we have mates. Like I've got one of my guys I call my best mate. He lives down Queenscliff Way. Known the guy since I was, 15 years old. I talk to him once a year, but I still call him my best mate. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to be in his face to remember that guy exists. Yeah, but certain friends, like the second you don't see him for a week, you probably don't think of him again.
Well, that's like the guys I grew up with too. That we're still on the chat group. We've got a chat group of all of us, and we'll just chuck shit up every now and then and have a chat. But a lot of them moved in the state too. So when they all come back, we always try to catch up.
Of course, So. No, it's good. It's some friendships are worth hanging on to. That's for sure.
So you were touching on previous relationships outside, and you said you had some troubled ones back in the days. I mean, I've had some tough times with my ex-partner with my children. She moved on, and you were talking about kids, changing subject again, and you got a blended family now. How does that go together? How was that moving on from?
I guess third time lucky for me. Claire's the love of my life, and people who know, if they've seen us together, know it. She's really supportive, really awesome, great stepmom. I'd say she's more a mum than a stepmom to my kids. The dynamic of a blended family is challenging, especially when two parents come with different perspectives on parenting together. I guess if you have kids together, you kind of grow with the same sort of parenting sort of flow, whereas you're coming together with two different sort of ideas, that can be challenging. But for us, in saying that, I think we're pretty lucky. It hasn't been a real challenge.
How old were the kids when you blended?
Oh, geez.
You said they're teenagers now. Like, are we talking?
Yeah.
Are we talking like
I think
young?
I think Claire and I are about 8 years.
Okay, cool. So they're probably 10-ish.
Yeah, they're pretty young.
In that start of that.
So they were pretty friendly together in the beginning?
I've got 3 and Claire's got 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. There's not many fights.
Yeah.
So I think there's less fights with Mason and the other 3 than just the other 3 together.
Okay. You love that.
Yeah, I've always been a little bit standoffish on restarting another relationship, because I know that's probably what I'm going to end up in another blended relationship. And I know my kids, they don't get along well together.
Yeah, they do now. They're starting to get through it. They're just at a difficult age, I think.
If they're listening, you need to be friends.
Yeah. Stop being a shit.
I guess I grew up with a single mum and 2 other brothers. So my poor mum, I look back now and go, we gave her hell.
Oh, no.
Like I wasn't an angel when I was a kid. I was a bit of a black sheep too. So, but look back now, mum had to be a mum and a dad, to 3 teenage boys. And that would have been
crazy.
Tough as hell.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and back then you don't realize.
It's the joy of hindsight, isn't it? Looking back at how your parents and I always say to my kids, one day you're going to realize we don't know anything. We were just fumbling our way through, and
we're winging this.
The fact that you guys have turned out kind of all right is a bonus for us.
And that's the same too. I forget the guy's name who was on last week, but he was saying when his parents broke up that he thought they were super parents.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We all think that.
Yeah.
Do you think that as a kid? You put all your trust in your parents. You think they know everything. They're the same as us. They had no idea.
Not a clue.
I stumbled through, and so were their parents and the parents before. You know, it's all the same. They're just good at hiding it.
That's it. Yeah, we just have authority, so you have to listen.
Well, back in the day, we used to get smacked around as well. And I know my parents say, "Oh, I never did that to you," but I fucking deserved it. I copped a few hidings, but I definitely deserved it.
Maybe not to the level I did, but
geez, I remember I was helping my dad wash his car, and I did something wrong, and he's told me off, and I've gone, "You don't love me," and he chased me 2 laps around the car before he clapped me and clapped me. Straight down.
You think about the worst thing you said to your parents. If your kid said that, said that to you, you'd be like,
mental health can be tough to talk about sometimes. When did you first feel comfortable opening up about it?
I guess I've been pretty blessed with mental health. I really have. I have had anxiety, and the first time was when I divorced my ex-wife. That was really tough. I got blocked from seeing the kids for 3 months, and it really did my head in.
Especially when you're a hands-on parent as well. It's hard when you get...
Yeah. It went from 100% to 0. It really did overnight pretty much for 3 months, and it was a challenge. Looking back, I remember my mum saying to me at one point going, just chill. I think you're a bit ill. There's something wrong. You're not yourself. And when you're in the middle of it, fighting it and everything, you don't realize that at all until afterwards, and you look back and you reflect a bit and you go, shit, that did have a bit of an effect on me. Probably made some bad decisions at that time, but pushed through and everything worked out eventually. Third time lucky.
It's good.
That's it. I'm on my second marriage, and so is my wife. We both were married before. We call it our, we had to practice one before we got it right. You've got to work out what you will accept, I guess. What you won't accept and what you will accept from a partner.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And I think, this everyone's heard it, but communication's key.
Absolutely.
You really got to be able to communicate. Talk things through.
Try and get it early as well. I think that's what happened. We left it very late. I put up with a lot, and I stuck around for a long time. It was hard for me to leave my kids because I walked away. I lived in the shed there for a little while while she lived in the house. In the dead of winter, I was in the shed by choice, only because I wasn't willing to leave. I still need to be there for my kids.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is.
And I put up with it for a long time.
Yeah, our conversation about exes earlier, Geoff, was that you were similar to me and on eggshells around certain partners, and it's not a good feeling not knowing where you stand and having to modify your behaviour for someone else's mental health.
Yeah, so I had another partner before Claire. BC, before Claire. And she had
BPD.
Borderline personality disorder and also suffered from depression. And it really was. And we've talked about, the same.
Yeah, similar things.
It was walking on eggshells, and it was like riding a roller coaster that when they're happy, they're really happy. They're so happy. They're peaking. They're peaking. It's full on.
Yeah, that's scarier than...
Yeah, because you're at the top of the roller coaster and you're about to go down and all hell's about to break loose.
Yeah. So when all this was happening, was it diagnosed that she had that? She knew she had it? Was she under a treatment?
I'd already been with her for a while, and I think she realised she had issues and was seeing a psychiatrist.
It's not always our own mental health that we have to deal with. That's kind of the point of what we're talking about now, is sometimes the people around you, the ones closest to you, the ones you're supposed to be there for each other, sometimes that gets taken advantage of to a certain extent.
Because that's what was hard for me personally too, because I don't walk away from things easily. So, and I guess I've got that sort of I'll try and fix it mentality as well.
Yeah.
And I learned that's virtually impossible. You can't. They've got to be able to try and fix themselves. It was really tough. Really tough.
Moving on a little bit, mate, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received, whether it's in life or on the road, or changing the subject a little bit of a hard turn, but
I reckon
keep you out of trouble.
I reckon the mantra I go by is treat people how you'd like to be treated. And I think that's pretty simple, but it sums up life. Show people the respect that you want to be given, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I always say just don't be a cunt.
Yeah. and understand when some people are having a bit of a joke. Some people, especially in Australia, because I'm Kiwi, You guys all like to have a bit of a digger in there.
Oh, yeah.
The banter between mates in our group chat for our club is brutal. If you didn't know that it was a joke, you'd be like, Jesus, what's all these guys' problem?
What have I done wrong?
These guys going to war? What's happening?
It is, you're right. It's the Aussie way. It really is. Giving each other a bit of a ring.
One of my favourite things is if somebody come up to you and they're having a bad day and they need to speak to you about what's going on in their life, who would you turn them to if there was a bigger problem under the surface? I know you'd sit and talk to them, but if you found a bit of a bigger problem underneath the surface, who would you point them to?
I'd probably one of the services. I think. Look, I've had members in the club who have had a few issues, and I've listened and been on the phone for hours with them and just talked it through and discussed it. But yeah, it's always, I'd be pointing them to Lifeline or anything like that, Blue Dog, just so they have someone who's probably more qualified than I am.
Yeah.
To help them.
Blue Dog?
So, Black Dog.
Sorry, Black Dog.
Yeah.
Smack it around.
I'm getting mixed up.
Black and blue.
The black
you might have to edit that.
That's funny.
So I'm getting mixed up. My mate Chris Sands in Blue Dog Cruises.
There's also
it's a free plug.
Beyond Blue as well. So
Beyond Blue.
It's very easy. It's very easy to mix it up.
So have you used any of those services yourself?
No, I haven't needed.
What about Parenting Helpline? Have you used those when you're doing blended?
Sort of. Yeah. So I actually went to Berry Street.
That's a new
with the partner who had the borderline.
Yeah, right.
And I went there under the guise because I didn't want to rock the boat, that I was going there to get some advice on how to deal with my son.
Yeah.
When it was really I was going there to get some advice on how to deal with my ex.
Yeah.
And that guy was really helpful, and he gave me some coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So I went there probably 4 times and 4 hours, and he explained a lot. He explained how people's minds work, like offense and defense in, say, footy. So your comfort zone is always central in the middle. And if you get attacked, you go into defense, but then your offense goes bananas.
Trying to get back the other
having a crack at someone so you can just get back to your comfort zone. And when he explained all that to me, it was like,
it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, mind blown.
Exactly.
Far out. And show me a few things like that and how to deal with it and cope. And it's just real eye opener.
Berry Street.
It's kind of like a family. It's they're really good. If the kids are going off the rails and stuff too, you can direct them to Berry Street.
There we go. Put that in the show notes, please.
The organisation we're not allowed to talk about, we had a booth right next to them at Leongatha. Leongatha show. And I actually spent a bit of time talking about
the Berry Street people.
Yeah, they were actually really good. Yeah, they were really supportive, obviously. Like-minded organisations at the time.
So how do you balance the freedom of riding with your life's responsibilities? You've said that your partner throws you out.
Yeah.
It doesn't throw you out, but I mean, kicks you out the door.
Encourages me.
Kicks you out the door and says, go and enjoy yourself, which is wonderful. I bet a lot of listeners would wish that their partners would do that as well, yeah?
I guess saying that, I do have sometimes a bit of guilt that I'm taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I always have to kind of dial it back a bit. After the situation that happened in the club last year, I kind of took a bit of stock and started backing off on the amount of rides I was going on and spent a bit of time at home and I guess recovering, if I look back at it, just mentally from that, because it really was draining and it did my head in a bit.
Yeah, right. Do you take your kids with you on the bike sometimes?
They hate it.
Really?
The youngest likes it, but her mum would kill me if she got that. So we have to do it when she's over. We go out for sneaky rides and don't tell her. Jesus, don't tell it. If you're listening, don't tell. But yeah, so she loves it. The other two, not fans at all.
A bit scared.
Yeah, Jared just thinks I'm crazy. He's the oldest and he's very level-headed.
Yeah.
So he looks at me and goes, he does the maths and goes, mate, it's a massive risk, Dad. You know what you're doing. So you're crazy.
Yeah.
Claire's brothers used to ride bikes and everything. And I think she grew to hate them because her brothers rode them and stuff. Yeah.
Did they get hurt or anything? Or
no. She just, I think it's just, I don't know, just grew to hate them.
They get to go out and have all the fun and I don't.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it's just, so it's just me. Yeah, the rider in the family.
No, that's good. So has it taught you anything about managing your stress or your relationships, riding? Teach you how to be a bit calmer around I deal with people a little bit differently. Everybody goes, "Oh, can somebody pulled in front of me, I get a bit angry," but I don't care. Like, I've seen that it was going to happen a mile off, so I'll just chill out a little bit. I don't care.
Yeah.
People tooting at the lights.
20, 30 years ago, I was a completely different person. But I've seen Claire a lot in this, but she's had a bit of effect on me. She's calmed me a lot.
Yeah, it's
and I'm very
I hope
chill.
to find my woman like your missus you're talking about one day.
She's
out there somewhere, apparently.
Yeah, well, there's a lot out there. So
it's got to buy her from Russia.
There's a lot of fucking crazy ones too.
Tell you what, 5 years' time, you'll be able to buy one from Elon Musk.
I might jump on one of those jets and go to fucking Mars and get away from everywhere. So you're walking up to your younger self there, Geoff, and you had a little bit of advice for him. What would you tell him?
Chill out. Don't let things affect you too quickly. Maybe too.
You wouldn't tell him the lotto numbers?
Yeah, probably. Don't take things for granted too, I think, is one of them. And I'm pretty content in life. Yeah. I've always been content. Sometimes I think maybe I should tell the younger Geoff to go a bit harder on things and be a bit more adventurous, take a few more risks.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that.
Where I fought very hard to keep my house. I went through a bit of hell to keep that.
Yeah.
So I guess I kept the same job so I could pay my mortgage, do all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now I own my house.
Yeah.
We own our house.
Yeah.
So that goal's been reached.
Good.
That's another reason why I can get out there and do more stuff now.
Definitely, losing a mortgage definitely takes a lot of pressure off.
Oh, yeah. But tell you what, the cost of living's fucking gone through the roof.
So I rent. I have almost given up on the dream of owning a house. I don't think it's achievable with the amount I'm paying in rent a month. That's nearly impossible. I mean, I've got money. I don't cry poor. I don't say I'm loaded, but it's hard to save money and have
the money they're talking about too. Like, we got a bit of an inheritance from Trisha's family when their mum and dad passed away, and we've bought a few investment properties. And even to get an investment property, like, we're paying like 30% deposit, and they're still saying like, "Oh, we're not sure if it's like a valuable risk and stuff." We're like,
"You're taking 30% of my money,
30% of the value of the house. Yeah. There's no way you're going to lose money on this deal. I don't understand how this is such a big deal." Yeah.
Are you paying weekly shortfalls in that?
Yes.
Yes. We've got a truckload of equity.
Yeah.
But with the interest rates and everything at the moment, land tax, we can't afford to get an investment property.
Yeah, we got 3 in Queensland now. I bought one with my super, and it's $4,500 a month shortfall.
Yeah, far out.
So Trisha's entire wage is mortgage, and that's like, we ended up having to take a mortgage on this one.
Yep.
We'd had it paid off for fucking 15 years.
If it was Victoria, it'd be more, because you're paying less tax and stuff over there. Yeah, everyone's doing it.
Yeah,
everyone's doing it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not rich. Like, we're not fucking rich at all. Like, we had a bit of money because we got a big lump sum but if we could fucking sell that and get the parents back, we would.
Of course.
Money's not everything.
Owning property, like, my whole thing was, I was trying to set up. I've got 2 girls that are 29 and 22, and trying to set up for them to not, because I know they're not going to be able to save for a house, like you say. It's getting to that point of impossibility. So trying to set up so they have that opportunity when I'm gone. So same thing her parents did for us, we're going to do for them. So
I had Jared come home end of last year from school, where they've been learning the dollars and cents and that sort of thing. He's also doing business. And he come home and he goes, "Dad, I don't reckon I'll be able to afford a house till I'm 30.
Yeah.
God, I'm stuck with you doing 30.
I hope my kids still want to be with me when I'm 30.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I think I hit 18 and the door was open for me there. Like, I wasn't.
I left at 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told.
I tried to leave at 16, but I was, Mum was smarter than me. Yeah.
I think my mum said to me at 18, she goes, "It's about time this bird left the nest."
Yeah.
I got given the old
different world then too, though. Yeah. Like,
you either leave school, because I was going to get expelled. And Dad said, if you're going to leave school, you need to have a job.
Yeah.
And I did. I got a job, and I worked in Waverley as a dairy farmer. Worst job in the world.
Oh, you said that, yeah. But then the next one was good.
The next one was good.
Yeah.
But I left school and worked nightclubs with my mates.
Nice.
I've had a lot of different jobs. I worked as a bouncer in a nightclub called Itchy Q Park and Main Street.
Have you guys heard of the Hellfire Club?
Yeah, I have heard of the Hellfire Club.
I worked at that nightclub. Sundays was the Hellfire Club.
Wow.
Man, I've got stories.
I was going to say,
that one.
That's a whole other podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different release.
Well, you need to bring it back for those type of stories. How'd you get your nickname, Wiggle? Or your road name?
A little bit embarrassing. We're on a ride and I was looking after the slower riders and the learners, and we got split and we all came to a T intersection. We stopped and I said to him, do we go left? Do we go right? I can't remember what the instruction was. No one remembered, and we went left. We ended up being probably 20, 30 Ks the wrong way. We realised. Came back. Hendo, the VP, looked at me and said, wake up, Geoff. From the Wiggles. And that's where the purple bike came from.
Nice.
She's purple.
That's why she's purple.
So you know the story. You probably heard the story of why that got resprayed.
No.
We're all going on a ride to Sussex Inlet 2 years ago. I was meeting the guards at Violet Town. So that was the first meeting point. And just out of Violet Town, I'm riding and it was dark, so I had to leave early. And I didn't see it, but I've hit this fucking pothole that almost knocked me off the bike.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, a couple of hours later, my front tyre went down because I'd buckled the rim that bad. And I didn't even know. So we're at the servo in Yea, I think it was, and we had the little Thor's hammer. 4 or 5 of us to smash it back into shape. And, none of us are young. Young guys anymore. And so it took it out of us. And I was the last guy. Finally got it into shape, blew it up. Then we kept riding and we're gone for probably an hour or so. I was worried about
Wiggle.
I was worried about it, right? I was getting really paranoid. I shouldn't have. I look back now and go, you should have just not worried about it. But I did. And I was going around a corner and I thought, here's a good chance to look at it. So I'm leaning over, looking over it. All of a sudden I'm off the road.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going through the dirt, and I'd slowed down a bit and dropped the bike, and that was the end of my whole weekend.
Oh, shit.
So, that's why I needed a new paint job,
4 busted ribs.
Oh.
That's not cool. I've had that too.
I ambulance got called, and the Ambo said, her name was Claire too. She goes, do you want to call your wife? And I go, no, I don't want to call. And then I go, just give me 10 minutes. And 10 minutes later, do you want to call your wife? And I go, all right, I'll call my wife. I've called her. I've gone, babe, I've come off the bike. I'm in an ambulance and I'm a bit sore. And
fucking what a way to start a conversation.
and I'm going to the hospital right now to see what's wrong. And she's gone, oh, bullshit. Is that on the phone? Who's this girl you've got to call me? You got up at the pub pulling her leg. And it took 4 goes for the ambulance officer to actually convince her, no, this is serious.
You can turn the sirens on. So when I got knocked off my bike coming to work, just a bloke changed lanes on me, took the front wheel out basically. I hit the ground, my head hit the back of the car, I bounced on the road, but no gloves, so all banged up. Nothing terrible, just I wasn't going super fast. But I called my wife and I'm like, I'm okay. You don't have to panic, but and Ambo got there before she did. He was my second phone call. Left work, he pulled up, skidding on the other side of the freeway.
Yep, he left it on the fast lane, so think of the inside lane, right-hand lane, and on the barrier, right on the barrier. So I ended up calling up Vic Roads, telling them that I intended on going there with the trailer and picking it up. There was enough room for me to pull over, but they put a rolling blockade for me, so I could get down there, put the bike on the back. They close the lane off, and
one of those moments where you realise that the blokes in your club aren't just aren't just mates. Like,
we all love you, Geoff,
that
mate.
little bit extra that people do for you. Just like, that's a brother. That's not a mate.
Yeah, I saw that too with 2 of the guys at the guards. Came from opposite ends, and they saw me off the bike, and they jumped off their bikes without even putting a kickstand down.
Yeah,
just dropped their bikes, ran to me. You know? That blew me away.
Yeah, did the same thing when Bear came off his. Yeah, dropped my bike to run and make sure, because the way he came off, the bike went in front of a car. We're going up the Black Spur, and he's a front brake addict. Yeah. So the bike went out that way. He rolled and hit the back of the car, and the bike hit the front. And I thought,
he was using front brakes because he had no fucking back brake. I've just worked on his bike.
Our mate Bear's a reactive maintenance.
He's on my schedule now, and I cleaned your bike, Bear. So now you're on my maintenance schedule.
All right. We normally talk for about half an hour. hour, Geoff. We've been going nearly.
We have been.
Jesus,
going,
sorry.
Yeah, no, we're good. It's good.
We're going well.
So
we got plenty of content.
Yeah, that's it. We'll be able to edit it
down. So one thing we do like to ask our guests is, what is Twist the Throttle to you?
Give it all. Yeah. Pretty much. Give it all.
Get it
done. Yeah.
When we were coming up with the show name, I was like, something different, something's going to stand out. And what's our favourite thing to do?
Yeah, Twist that throttle. Yeah,
that's it. Get on it.
I love your logo too. It's awesome.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, come up well.
Jeff made me some lovely T-shirts.
I've got one.
I wear them with pride.
All good, mate. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving us a little bit of your story. We may get you back at some stage to get that Hellfire Club story on. If we're definitely going to get some of the other guards in, we're going to talk to Mona and Hendo that, see if we can get them down because. Yeah, obviously the Rust Nuts and the guards have got a pretty good rapport.
And we love you guys.
Yeah, got on the same mindset. I'll tell you what, had I known the guards existed, I probably wouldn't have started the Rust Nuts, to be honest. So would have been out there. They were a good crew. So
that's right. Well, thank you very much, Geoff. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in once again.
And check out our socials. We'll put that link up for the Talbot ride.
Awesome.
And the
Berry Street.
There we go. All right, listeners.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for riding with us today on Twist the Throttle. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Remember, no matter how tough the road gets, you're never riding alone. Stay safe, stay open, and catch you on the next ride. Keep that throttle twisted.